Hello everyone. My name is Niti Dugaya and I am Assistant Professor in EH Department SIRT. The topic for today's class is electrical power generation and economy, and it is the introduction to the subject as well as the scope of the subject. So today we'll study about the subject. Before that, we'll start about the scheme. This is the scheme of 5th semester where EX 503 is a departmental elective 1, and this departmental elective 1 we have chosen as electrical power generation and economy. So its subject code is EX 503A. So this is the syllabus as per RGPV norms, which is scheme based on AICTE flexible curriculum. So in unit 1, we'll be studying introduction to the energy resources and their availability, principal types of power plant, their special features and application, its present status and future trends. And the hydroelectric power plant, basically we are going to study in detail in unit 1. Those are the essentials, classifications, hydroelectric survey, rainfall runoff, hydrograph, flow duration curve, mass curve, storage capacity, site selection, plant layout, various components of hydropower plant, types of turbines, governor and speed regulation system, pump storage, small kilns, hydroelectric power plants. Those are mini and micro hydro power plants that we are going to study in unit 1. In unit 2, we'll be going to study in detail about the thermal power plant. Thermal power plant, in which we'll study the general developing trend, essentials, plant layouts, coal and its storage, preparation, handling, feeding and burning, then cooling tower, ash handling, water treatment plant, high pressure boilers, steam turbines, and the components of thermal power plant. 55 to 60% of energy, electrical energy, which is being generated in India comes from the thermal power plant by burning of coal. So this unit is very, very important. Unit 3 constitute of non-conventional power generation sources, and in which we'll include the geothermal power plant. We'll study electricity from biomass, direct energy conversion system from solar and wind, and we'll study thermoelectric conversion system, fuel cells, and magneto-hydrodynamic system. These are the non-conventional power generation sources these days. In unit 4, we'll be going to study gas turbine power plant, field of use, components, plant layout, comparison of gas turbine power plant with steam power plant, then combine steam and gas power plants, then nuclear power plant we're going to study. You have also seen nuclear power plant in science of school syllabus, but here we'll study that in deeper sense. Like nuclear fuels, we are going to study nuclear energy, main component of nuclear power plant, nuclear reactor, its type and application, radiation shielding, radioactive, and waste disposal and safety aspect we are going to study in this particular unit. In unit 5, power plant economics we will be studying, which includes the cost of electrical energy, selection and type of generation and generation equipment, performance and operation characteristic of power plant, economic scheduling principle, load curve, effect of load on power plant design, load forecasting, electric tariff, peak load pricing, etc., etc. The reference books which have been mentioned in the RGPV syllabus is M.V. Deshpande, Power Plant Engineering of Tata McGraw-Hill publication, B.R. Gupta, Generation of Electrical Energy from Ischand publication, Deshpande, M.V. Deshpande, Electrical Power System and Design, again from McGraw-Hill publication, and Food and Bullenberg, titled Power Generation and Control by John Wiley publication. Another book is there, V.K. Mehta is also a very good book of Ischand publication. We're going to refer that also. So first of all, before studying any course, we need to have to know about the course objectives, and after the end of the course, we'll have to analyze the course outcome. So the course objective of this subject is to develop the fundamental physical concept, systematic development and working of power system generation and its economy. This is the main part. After the end of the course, what outcomes are expected from the students? That the students should be able to aware of the various energy sources, and students should understand how the electrical energy is generated in various power plants. Students should be able to identify the various components of thermal power plants and its working in detail. Students should be able to develop understanding about the energy generation of various non-conventional power plants. Students should be able to learn how to generate electricity through the gas turbine power plant and nuclear power plant. And lastly, student must understand the principal and basic factor which affects the performance of power plant and its economics. So this is supposed to be one of the core subjects. So this subject is very, very important as far as the syllabus is concerned. It would be asked in GATE questions also, in PSUs also, power system questions has been asked. So this is a very vital subject. This is the world energy scenario. We have, before we need to proceed it further, we have to have the knowledge about the world energy scenario. So in world energy scenario, we are having the oil, gas, biofuel, electricity, coal, and heat percentage. Out of the 100%, coal, that is oil, is the major stake of electricity or energy, and 20.8% is electrical energy, 11% from coal, biomass and fuels makes 12% around, and gas makes around 14.9%, heat makes 3.3%, and wind and solar, etc., contributes to the 5.5%. And out of this 20.8%, electricity consumed by user is 83%, and the transportation and distribution losses are 8%, and the electrical industry-wise use is 9%. Out of this 83% on, this 38% of world electricity generation comes from the coal, then 22% comes from the gas, then comes from the hydro power plant, then comes from the nuclear, then oil, then biofuels, then wind energy, then solar, then geothermal, and other things, etc. So this is the world energy scenario. As far as Indian energy scenario is concerned, we can see here clearly that the coal makes 56%, hydro makes 13%, renewable energy contributes around 21%, gas 7%, nuclear 1.94%, and diesel 0.24%. Out of this renewable energy, 21%, 9.93% has been contributed by wind, then around 7.5% from solar, then biopower 2.7%, and small hydro 1.29%, and other sources 0.04%. This is the Indian energy scenario prediction of future, that is 2029-2030. So we are going to reduce the coal by 6%. As we have seen here we are having currently, as per 30th September 2018, we were having coal of 56.23%, which is currently approximately 56, very, very close to 56. But by the end of 2030, we are expecting the coal to be reduced by around 6%, and the coal will be taking 50%. So obviously the solar energy part would be increased. 23% would be of solar, wind would be contributing 12%, hydro 8%, biomass 1%, and gas 2%, and 4% nuclear would be contributing by the end of 2030. So this is the total installed capacity in India. That India is one of the world's largest producer and third largest consumer of electricity also. And the national electricity grid in India has the installed capacity of 371.054 gigawatt as per 30th June 2020. Renewable power plant, which includes large hydroelectric power plants, constitute almost 35 to 36% of India's total installed capacity. And as per the Central Electricity Authority, these data has been generated, and out of which central sector, state sector, and power sector are contributing as shown in the table. The 93,477 megawatt has been contributed by central sector, 103,628 megawatt from state sector, and private sector is contributing 1,73,949 approximately. So private sector is contributing around 57%, central sector around 25%, and 28% around has been contributed by the state sectors. So this is the Indian power contributors. This is the overall classification for understanding the concept of power contributors. So first is private. In private parties, there are many players like private companies who are big shots like Tata, Adani, Reliance, etc. are the private sectors which are providing electricity nowadays. And central sectors are NTPC, NHPC, NEEPCO, NPCIL, etc. And in state, we are in Madhya Pradesh, we are having various State Electricity Board contribution. Former it was MPSEB, that is Madhya Pradesh State Electricity Board. That now the MPSEB has been divided into 4 parts before 10 years. MPPTCL, Madhya Pradesh Power Transmission Corporation Limited, then Madhya Pradesh Generation Corporation Limited, then Madhya Pradesh Transmission Corporation Limited, and Madhya Pradesh DISCOM, right? So DISCOM means distribution company. So this MP DISCOM has been divided into 3 categories again. MP Purva Kshetra Vidyut Vitran Company Limited, then Madhya Pradesh Madhya Kshetra Vidyut Vitran Company Limited, then Madhya Pradesh Paschim Kshetra Vidyut Vitran Company Limited. In Bhopal, most of the sector we are having Madhya Pradesh Madhya Kshetra Vidyut Vitran Company Limited. It has been showing as your service provider. Whenever you are going to do online payment, they ask you to choose the your service provider, and whenever you put these things service provider, the option would be like Madhya Pradesh Purva Kshetra, Madhya Kshetra, and Paschim Kshetra. What I am going to feed it in according to my locality, it comes under MP Madhya Pradesh. So all of you can check your electricity bills also. They have shown it here, so you can identify easily which is your power contributor, which is the company by which you are gaining the electricity generation. So this is the starting lecture. In next portion we will be covering the scope of this subject and the GATE syllabus of this particular subject and importance of this subject. Thank you.